Hi guys, it's me, Naomi Mc Laughlan, and I'm so glad I'm back home. Well, I'm kind of glad being back home. It was really lovely in Scotland. And if you're live with me here, then please say hi. Today I'm going to talk quickly about the 5 steps to building your global brand and how you can use multimedia to actually do so online and without waiting, I guess. I think I wanted to try and share this to my personal page. Hold on one second. Got my laptop here as well. So let's see whether that actually works. Just one second. Sitting in my backyard. So the connection seems to be really good. If you can't hear me, then let me know, please. But I think this time I'm using my my earpiece, so that should work well. Share to my personal page, and I think it actually does work. Isn't that funny? Right, okay, let's see. There we go, just one sec. Like many of you know, this is just my second live, Facebook Live, so it's not showing on time idea that there it is. Okay, that should have worked. Okay, so welcome again. I'm Naomi Mc Laughlan, and today I'm going to talk about how you can build a global brand with your business and reach more people using multimedia marketing, like for instance this video on Facebook Live. And I got a view. This is awesome. Say hi. Just type in your name if you like, or even if you type in anything, I will definitely see your name. All right, okay, so let's get started. So point number 1 of my list is you need to decide whether your brand is actually a personal brand or whether it's going to be a product or service-based brand. And what that actually means is the brand going to be about you? So are you going to be the number 1 key person in your business? Or, I mean, in front of the cameras, or is the focus rather on your products or services? And if that's the case, you would have to decide. So that's your step number 1. And the main key reason why you need to decide that is because you don't want to confuse your followers. So let me give you an example. Let's assume you're selling tomato sauce or whatever. I mean, let's go with tomato sauce, right? And you would then start so that means that would be a product-based brand, right? Because it's not about you, it's about the sauce. You would not want to post any personal information other than maybe behind the scenes on how you make the sauce and why you make the sauce and where people can actually get access to it and buy it. Whereas if you have a personal brand like I have, then of course everything is about me and how I can help you or other clients and customers. So I can actually share where I go on holiday and what I do, and it would actually make sense. Whereas if I would be selling tomato sauce, it wouldn't make any sense telling people where I am at the moment or where they can meet me live, because they might most likely not be interested in any of that knowledge, because they would be interested in how to get the sauce and maybe get a coupon code or something to get it actually cheaper, or buy one get one free offer, right? Yeah, in order to get more sauce because they like it so much. So you really, at the beginning, have to make a choice whether you are going to build a personal brand or a service or product-based brand. So step number 1 is decide. And that leads me to clarity, which is the second part of building a global brand using multimedia marketing. You have to be very clear in your message. So don't go ahead and post something today that contradicts what you're going to post tomorrow. So it should all be in line. So for instance, if you are, like me, concerned about global goals, then you cannot go ahead and buy yourself a 4x4, wasting so much fuel and driving around in it and then posting about it, right? So obviously you might want to then instead, as your new car, get an electric car or something, or a biofuel car, or maybe a hybrid or something that would actually fit in your marketing communication if you wanted to share that if you have a personal brand. Whereas if you have a product or service-based brand, then obviously your entire message should be about that, about the products and the services you sell. So you would communicate the benefits, you would communicate where people can get access to it, and you would not share that you had a nice dinner last night, because again, it's about your products and your services as opposed to you as the personal brand being you. So you have to be extremely clear with what it is you're going to tell people and how you communicate with people about your business, and then keep on telling them kind of the same story but in different words, right? So you can't repeatedly say the same sentence. That would become boring and people would stop following you, whereas opposed to just giving it a different style maybe, or a different scenery, so to speak, right? I hope that gives you some idea. And I have just dropped my notes, so I have to look down. Okay, sorry. Oh man, I'm so organized, aren't I? 1 second, let me just quickly grab it. Like I said, I'm sitting in my garden, so it's all a little bit not like in the office. Okay, so that was number 2. So clarity. So we covered number 1. That was decide if you are a personal brand or a product or service-based brand. And then number 2 was clarity, which is really key to communicating in a very consistent way. Number 3 would be, are you talking business to business or business to customer or business to client? And that again is very key in everything you and the way you communicate with your audience, because obviously let's assume you have a business to business product based or service based company. You would then most likely not directly speak to the decision maker, or the decision maker might be a team, meaning your communication would have to be transferable for people to explain what you actually do or what you sell and how your products or services can benefit the person in charge or the team in charge, right? Whereas if you are posting and communicating to customers directly, they will most likely be the clients or customers who actually buy your products or services. So you have to be, once again, be very clear with them and in your communication on how you address those. So let me give you an example. If you are, again, we use the tomato sauce, right? The person in store would decide whether or not he or she buys the sauce. So most likely the person buying the grocery, going out for grocery shopping, right? Whereas if you would then think of advertisement or communication, marketing communication, you would speak to that person directly, or to the family involved, if there's a family involved, who would then decide as a team that they would like to try your sauce because they've heard of it. Whereas if it's a business, it's a little bit different, because the person who might have heard about you might not be the decision maker, but rather almost like a well, how shall I say best, like a transmitter, so to speak. So once again, your message needs to be super clear, and you need to make it very easy for people then to take your message along. And the best way you can do that is by having sophisticated and really lined out Q&A pages within your website. So giving them all the benefits and all the aspects of your product or your services you sell, so that that person could just say something like, hey, I've seen company ABC selling whatever, and this is their website, and they have a really great about section or Q&A section within their website. You want to go and have a look at it. Maybe that's something for us. That would help that transmitting person speaking to their team members or to the decision makers within the company. Or if it's, let's say, a manager having heard about you, then talking to his or her boss, right? So that would help a lot. So once again, step 1 is you need to decide, are you a personal brand or a product and service-based brand? Number 2 is be very clear with it, stay within it. So don't share your family photos if you're a product or service-based brand, if it's not a personal brand. So a personal brand would be www.naomimclaughlan.com, whereas a product-based brand might be something like www.thetable.com, right? So the table might be a restaurant and not a personal brand, right? I don't know whether that actually exists. You can have a look just for fun, but anyways, so you get the point, I guess. Yeah, and then step 4 is your target market. So where they're hanging out. So I'm always using social media, and I think that's the best way to go forward nowadays. And I believe Facebook Live is a brilliant option to reach your audience. However, let's assume your target market does not use Facebook Live or any social media channels, then it wouldn't make any sense, right? Like I did a consultation some time back for a target audience 70 plus, so 70 years plus, right? It would have made little sense to use social media, or social media maybe yes, but maybe not mobile media, right? So they might most likely not use mobile applications because they're not using smartphones. And if they do use smartphones, the question is, would they go live and listen to something, or would they replay a video you've posted and so forth? So you have to be super duper clear who you're actually talking to, where that target market or target audience would actually be. And then it's not just where are they, but also are they live on. So meaning if you stream live, will somebody actually be online? So right now I can't see any views on this page. However, if I check my laptop, which is just next to me, let me have a look. Can't see whether there's anybody watching live on my personal page. That one I have to check out. Like I told you before, this is just my second one. So let's see. I can actually not access or see whether somebody's watching live. But in any case, so you have to make sure, I mean, this one doesn't really matter because it will be recorded and it is a video, so people can replay it. And I know that people will later have a look because I've seen the reviews and the comments on my first video. However, if that wouldn't be the case, if my target audience wouldn't be using Facebook. So you really have to make sure that your target audience actually does use Facebook, or whatever platform you use, right? I'm only using Facebook as an example right now because I'm using it right now. But it could also be Instagram or Pinterest or Twitter or LinkedIn or any other channel I've not mentioned, right? Or Snapchat for that matter. Right, okay, so number 4 was your target market. So be very clear who you are speaking to and when they're actually online. And then we come to number 5, which is multimedia online content-based marketing. What does that mean, right? That's a long thing to do. So multimedia obviously is audio-based, video-based, and text-based content. So for instance, you can write a blog, that would be text-based. You can use that blog post and create a video out of your main points, that would then be video-based. You can strip the audio and make either a podcast out of it, so you would add an intro and outro and upload it to either iTunes or to SoundCloud or anywhere else online. And or you could send it out as a recording, like a private phone call or something. That would be multimedia, right? So you got your audio, you got your video, and you got your written content. And my main reason why you should do so is because people access it in a different way. Like I, for instance, love audiobooks and podcasts because I can do something else in the meantime while I'm listening to it. And even if it's just my laundry, so I do my folding my whatever, towels or something, and I'm listening to an audio, and it gives me the option to still consume the content while not having to sit down and read it or watch it or something like that, but I can listen to it. The same applies for reading. I love reading a lot, but I can only do so if I can fully concentrate on the page, obviously, and I can't look up so much or fold at my laundry at the same time. So it's highly important to give people as much access to your content as possible. And that's my major reason why I would suggest you use multimedia in your marketing. Now, when it comes to content marketing, the difference between, for me at least, content marketing and maybe traditional marketing, if you will, is that content-based marketing is the marketing you use to teach people something or to let them know about something, but not in a salesy way, but rather in a teaching way or in a mentoring, coaching type of way. So to give you an example, the 10 steps of losing weight or the 5 ways of writing an awesome blog post, right? That would be content-based marketing. And the reason why is because you first give them the 10 steps, right? So you appear to be the person who can actually give them expert advice. And at the end of your post, you would then state something like, and if you like this, or if you need further help with this, then do that, whatever that might be. So that would then be your call to action. So your CTA. And within your CTA, you would then let them know how they can access your content, further content. So for instance, you could say something like, if you really like this, maybe you want to go ahead and read this. So you could actually give them access to more content, or you could use it for them to sign up for your newsletter and then say something like, if you really like this blog post or this video, then why not subscribe to my YouTube channel, or why not subscribe to my SoundCloud or my iTunes podcast or whatever content they've just consumed. And then you want to give them a go ahead, and don't assume they would just do so, because people are bombarded with information. And I think a person who's actually taken the time to listen to the entire podcast or listen to the entire video, or watch the entire video, or read the whole blog post, they're actually more likely to sign up. But still, if you give them that extra call to action, I believe it's even an extra notch towards actually doing it and not putting it off to later. And you can actually give them an extra incentive by saying the first 5 people, or if you sign up today, you get this XYZ. So maybe a free checklist or something. But the main key with the incentive is that the incentive is actually connected to what I've just read. So if they've read a blog post on vegan meals, it wouldn't make any sense to then add something like a checklist for your wardrobe style or something. It wouldn't really connect, right? But it would maybe be for healthy foods, or I don't know, a coupon code. Again, it depends on whether it's a service-based business, a product-based business, a mix of it, or a personal brand, right? So that's highly, highly important to then, it's important to have the CTA, but it's not as important to have the extra incentive. That's just a plus on it. So you don't need to give an incentive on every post, but maybe every other post you could add one. But I would definitely say add a CTA to every post you post. So whether it's a blog post, a video, a podcast, or an audio, just an audio if it's not a podcast, right? Okay. So just to recap quickly. So we had step number 1, and I have to get my quick note again because, like I said, I'm in the garden. It's a little bit not so organized like in the office. So you need to decide whether or not you're a personal brand, a product-based or a service-based brand, or a mix of it, so that you then go to step 2 and you can be very clear with what you post and how you communicate. That is definitely key. Number 3 then is to decide, are you talking to the main decision maker? So are you talking from business, so that's you, business, to customer or consumer, so B2C, or are you in the sector of B2B? So you're talking to business to business, right? That's important because people need to make a decision, right? And in order to make a decision, you have to think about their customer journey. How do they find you? And then find out more to then decide whether or not they would actually want to buy your products or your services. And then we talked about, hi there, my internet connection just got disconnected. I'm so sorry. So you have to watch the 2 videos if you watch the replay instead of one. But maybe I can take it down later and then just create one video for you to watch it without the break in the middle. Right, okay, so I was about to recap what we've discussed so far. So I believe we came up to step 4, which was your target market. And then the last step, number 5, is to create multimedia content and use that for your marketing instead of general marketing, right? So if you remember what I said earlier, or if you've watched the first video, if you're watching the replay, if you haven't watched the if you are a replay viewer, right, you should go back, I recommend, and watch the first video. But just to summarize it quickly, it's important that you actually, oh no, my connection is weak again, so let's see whether I reconnect. I'm sure you can still hear me, because when I was at the beach, people told me that it was actually, despite weak connection, you could actually hear me well. So in any case, so I was going to say content-based, yes, content-based marketing. It's highly important that you don't spam people with information they don't want. So if you provide them with a video, with a blog post, with a podcast, or with an audio, or any other content, right? It's highly important that it gives them some type of value. So whether it's teaching them something, mentoring, coaching them, and not just giving them the benefits of your product. So don't just post something like, oh, it's so lovely to taste, if it's your tomato sauce, or it's we do great haircuts, because every other hairdresser does a great haircut. So what's the special item or the special service they only receive from you? Is it your expertise? Is it the friendliness of your staff? Is it the fast service, so no waiting, can they walk in? Those kind of things when you have a brick and mortar store. Or if you are like me, an online-based business owner, then again, you have to tell them something that actually makes sense and gives them somewhat of value. Otherwise, it's just marketing and not content marketing. That's the difference. And then multimedia, because people like to access and digest content in at least 3 different ways. So they like to view it, read it, or listen to it, because they can then do something else in the meantime, like I do when I listen to my audiobooks. And I think that's about it. If nobody has a question, I'm gonna head off and do something else now. It was lovely for me to speak to you again, second time live, so that's awesome, instead of just a bland video where nobody can actually give me a comment or ask a question. So if you don't have any questions, then that's it for now. And like I said, don't forget the 5 steps in order for you to build a global brand using the internet. Awesome. And loads of software, which I'm going to talk about in my next live cast. So tomorrow around the same time, I'm going to teach you what type of software I use, and online applications and mobile applications, in order to make my podcast and videos. And most likely I will tell you about how I edit my infographics and quote as well. And if you have any questions in the